Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And filling in for Terry Stiles, I'm River Tuck. In this week's news, collecting prom wear for Hope Closet, MC Witches closes, BBQ joint to open, and an award ceremony for public safety personnel.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. When your invitation to participate in the 2020 U.S. Census arrives in the mail on or between March 12th and March 20th, don't ignore it. Don't pitch it in the trash, and don't put off responding. The annual distribution of more than $675 billion in federal funds is based on census data. This money is used for schools, hospitals, roads, public works, human services, and more. The census count also determines the number of seats Michigan will have in the U.S. House of Representatives for the next 10 years. Our quality of life and our political representation are at stake. So make sure to count yourself and everyone living in your household for the 2020 U.S. Census.
Last Thursday, February 20th, local officials from the Oxford Village and Township came together to update the public at the State of the Community breakfast at Independence Village of Waterstone. The event was put on by the Oxford Chamber of Commerce. Despite the looming M24 construction project, both Oxfords appealed to unity and optimism. Village President Joe Frost was honored to say the state of the village and community is strong, while the Michigan Department of Transportation embarks on the community's largest construction project in 100 years. Frost said he is optimistic about the benefits coming to Oxford after completion of the MDOT project.
For the fifth consecutive year, Terry Dwarn and his granddaughter, Tatum Wright, will take one of their classic hot rods to McGuire's Detroit Auditorium at the TCF Center, formerly known as Cobo Hall, for Friday, February 28th through March 1st, as they have for the last 3 years. The pair will display Dwarn's 1953 two-door Morris Minor, a car fittingly produced in Oxford, England from 1948 to 1971. Further information regarding the Autorama is available at autorama.com.
At approximately 7 p.m. on February 22nd, Witches served up its last sub. After 10 years, the iconic Detroit-themed craft sandwich shop in downtown Oxford has closed its doors. But the owner, Patrick Hingst, isn't going anywhere. In a few weeks, those doors will quietly reopen as Woodchips BBQ Express. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it is a modernized version of Hingst's Woodchips barbecue restaurant in Lapeer. Although Witches is going on mothballs for a while, Hingst hopes to eventually resurrect it in Detroit.
The Oxford Library has already received its first dress for this year's Hope Closet Drive. Hope Closet is a nonprofit, volunteer-run boutique open for only 1 week a year ahead of prom season. It's usually held in early May at First United Methodist Church in Royal Oak. The closet gives away free dresses to young women so they can attend special high school events regardless of financial limitations. In-person appointments are required. Clients must show their student ID or proof of high school attendance. Then they can shop, no questions asked. Ahead of the boutique, for the entire month of March, the library will collect dresses, shoes, jewelry, wraps, and basically anything a girl might wear to a prom or a homecoming. If you would like to help, drop off items at the Teen Services Desk at the Oxford Public Library.
Looking for accurate information about your property or somebody else's property in Oxford Township or Village? If you would like fast information, visit www.bsaonline.com. This fantastic tool is easy to use and accessible 24/7. All you need to do is input a name, property's address, or parcel number to find information on public record about the owner, the address, property's legal description, and tax history.
To mark the Oakland County celebration of its 200th birthday this year with a living monument, Oakland County has implemented a bicentennial tree program. Thanks to the Oakland County Bicentennial Tree Program, in April, Oxford Township will receive 50 white oak seedlings, each approximately 18 inches high. These seedlings, which are being provided by the county at no cost to the township, and will be planted in the community's two largest parks, in Seymour Lake and Oakwood Lake Township Parks. According to the county, the oak tree is the symbol of Oakland County, and planting it is a perfect unifying civic act for all residents to participate in our bicentennial celebration. And by the way, it should be noted, oak trees have direct benefits to the Oakland County by keeping our air, lakes, and streams clean for all residents.
American Legion Auxiliary Unit 108 in Oxford held its annual award ceremony for public safety personnel on Sunday afternoon. Following a buffet dinner, certificates of appreciation were presented to members of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Oxford Fire Department, and Oxford Village Police Department. 5 members from these 3 agencies were singled out to receive special honors for their commitment to the job, service to the community, and willingness to go above and beyond the call of duty. A fantastic story. Our personnel should always be recognized, obviously. One of the stories that connects to, at least for me, I recently interviewed Alex Van Haren, and he does a lot of different charity stuff outside of his charity, Scarves for Cozy Kids. One of the things he does is he donates a lot to many different police departments, and he makes sure they're stocked with like bags of scarves and hats to keep in the back of squad cars for anyone in need. Stuff like that. So it's great to see people being recognized, both the students who work so hard and our police officers.
Absolutely. One thing I found with this community is everybody, they come together for these charitable.
Oh, definitely.
Fish is another one, that they provide support for. I want to say, as far as our police department, fire department in Oxford Township, both the village and of course the county sheriff's department, they do a terrific job. Fire department under Pete Schultz, again, a fantastic
And they're
group
very
of workers.
involved.
Yes,
that was one of the very first things I got here in October, and ever since then, I mean, you see the officers in more than just cop cars driving around. They're out doing community stuff, and obviously here at OCTV we have a different lens to look through it, and they are very, very involved, which is a great thing to be appreciating.
Right, the other day I saw police lights on, so I slowed down, went around, and a police officer was actually helping a person change their tire.
Oh, there you go. That's the help you need.
Yeah, it is. So a great community.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Glad to be here, and I think everybody that enjoys the benefits from the village and the township really appreciate it as well.
And that is going to wrap up our Oxford news for this week. If you would like to learn more about these stories and others, you can pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader, or you can catch us on OCCTV.org or on YouTube, and of course, your regular cable channels, Spectrum Channel 191 or at AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with school sports and school news with none other than River Tuck. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm River Tuck. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Hello, Oxford parents and students. My name is River Tuck, and I hope you all are having a great start to March here in our Oxford area schools. OCTV has been very busy covering all of the great things our students are up to. We are still celebrating students like Prudential Spirit Award winner Alex Van Haren and Mini Master Model builder Blake Myers, who had incredible news to share with us last month. If you missed those stories, be sure to check out our Facebook and YouTube to catch up on all things OCTV. And as always, if you have stories of what our students are up to, please reach out to me. That is the only way to make sure our students' stories get the coverage they deserve. For sharing these stories, questions, comments, and concerns, you can reach me anytime at river.tuck@gmail.com or by phone at 248-214-6369. With that in mind, let me lay out the district's calendar for the rest of the month so you all have everything you need to stay in the loop this March. Starting off with this week, depending on what day you are viewing this, some of this may be old news, but news all the same. Monday the 2nd, our middle school band will hold a pre-festival concert in the Performing Arts Center. The following day, Tuesday the 3rd, OMS counselors will visit Clear Lake and Leonard Elementary Schools. And over at Lakeville, the Checkers and Super Singers clubs will meet. Also that night, parent-teacher conferences will be held at OHS from 4 to 7. On Wednesday, the 4th, there will be another pre-festival concert, this time for the high schoolers. Keeping it busy, Thursday the 5th, DECA heads to States. OMS counselors visit Lakeville and OES, and 5th grade parent nights will be held at the middle school for both Lakeville and OES students. Last day of the school week, Friday the 6th, we will see DECA once again at States, as well as the MSBOA performing in the Performing Arts Center all after school. Lakeville will have a busy Friday with lots of events, including a community fair taking place from 6 to 7. After the school week, DECA extends their mission into Saturday, as well as MSBOA. It will be a very busy first week of March here in these schools with a lot to look forward to. Keeping with looking forward, there are more events in March you should know about. On Tuesday the 10th, there will be a school board meeting from 6:30 to 8:30. On Wednesday the 11th, there will be a PSC meeting at Lakeville from 4 to 5 and a PTO meeting at Leonard from 7:30 to 8:30. Thursday, it doesn't stop. There will be an OMS Washington, D.C. trip parent meeting from 6 to 7. Right after that, the OMS PTO meeting will be held as well. If interested, there will be an OVA informational meeting from 6:30 to 8 at the OVA campus. The Friday following, which is the 13th, all elementary schools in the district will have a half-day and school spirit-related events to go with that. If you have any comments for the superintendent, then March 16th from 6 to 7 p.m. is your time to do so at the superintendent's open office hours. That week will be extra fun with an OHS musical hitting the stage to start its Thursday to Sunday run at the Performing Arts Center. The only other thing to keep in mind for March is the week shaved off the bottom for spring break, of course. I will continue to track and share all of the stories as they progress throughout the month. Before I go, I would like to share a brief snippet from an interview I conducted recently. I'm sure that many fans of Oxford Athletics will enjoy seeing a familiar face visit the Schooling Around program. And as we approach spring break and the ideas of summer start to trickle into the minds of students, what better time to hear from someone who aims to keep some of our athletes very busy this summer? What are you looking forward to as coach in the season with the team?
I'm looking forward to getting to know my players. I want to know them personally. I want to know that them to know that they can come to me with problems or anywhere I can help. But I also want the parents to feel like they're involved because they are. Right? These are their kids, and they always want what's best for their kids. And I understand that because I have 3 kids. But I want these guys to compete. I want them to be enthusiastic at practice. So small change would be having music at practice. You know, it's science has shown it increases your energy, mood.
Is that something you guys did in the NFL?
Oh yeah, every level.
Yeah.
Yep, we had music at practice, so that'll be something that the players don't know yet. But if they watch this, I'm sure.
In college too?
College too.
Okay, so that's good then. They'll be ready for the transition into college.
Yeah. So football is supposed to be fun. Everything you do should be fun. And the only reason things aren't fun is you didn't work hard enough and you didn't get your goals that you wanted, right? So you can have that dream job as long as you work hard. And I don't want them to prove anybody else right. I don't want them to prove me right. I want to make sure that none of them leave this team and have regret for not proving themselves right and how good they think they can be. So
that was only a snippet of my talk with Coach Line. So for all of it, please be sure to stay tuned to all things OCTV, including our YouTube and Facebook pages, where you will catch releases of all OCTV content. As always, I will continue to follow the stories that keep our students and parents busy. So for all your school news and schooling around content, stay tuned to OCTV. Until next time, Oxford.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, for the first time ever, 2 private satellites have latched onto one another in orbit around the Earth as part of a rescue mission that will give a flagging spacecraft 5 more years of operation. This technique could be used in the future to repair and service satellites in space. The first, called IS-901, is a communication satellite that was launched by Intelsat in 2001 and is now running out of fuel. The second, called the Mission Extension Vehicle 1, or MEV-1, was developed by Northrop Grumman and is designed to attach to other satellites and take over controlling their orbits and which direction they point. It was launched in October and reached IS-901 on February 25th. When the 2 spacecraft came together, MEV latched onto IS-901. It is now performing diagnostic tests before the combined double satellite moves from the higher orbit in which the maneuver took place back down to a lower orbit to operate for another planned 5 years. Intelsat is the first customer to be serviced by MEV-1, but if all goes well, it won't be the only one. These two satellites will stick together for 5 years, and then MEV-1 will return IS-901 to a graveyard orbit out of the way of working satellites and move on to a new partner. Another similar satellite called MEV-2 is scheduled for launch later this year, and Northrop Grumman says that they plan to develop a whole fleet of service satellites. This could be a helpful step in dealing with Earth's space junk problem, the thousands of dead satellites in orbit that could prove problematic for spaceflight in the future. If satellites can be made to last longer and moved around, even if they're broken or out of fuel, it could mitigate the problem or even start to bring down the old junk, and that's been up there for years. Wow. In our next story, the 3 things we really need to know about the Wuhan coronavirus. Pathogens obey simple rules of transmission, and these can be used to predict how fast the number of infections will rise and fall, and how hard it will be to stop a disease, and how bad things are likely to get. Measuring the necessary parameters in a virus that is new to humans can be difficult, though. First, you need the basic reproduction number, R0. If everyone is susceptible to an infection, and we are, as the Wuhan virus is now to humans, R0 is the average number of other people that any individual with the virus will infect. Research teams have calculated 12 different estimates for the virus's R0 so far. Together, these suggest it is between 1.8 and 3.3. To stop an epidemic, the average number of new people that each case infects needs to be below 1. This can happen as people become immune, get a vaccine, or change their behavior to prevent transmission. In the case of the Wuhan virus, people in China are already avoiding crowds and public transport. The second parameter is the number of cases. Because the illness looks like a flu and can be mild, many cases are thought to be going undiagnosed. But long-distance travelers are coming under close scrutiny, and assuming that they aren't vastly more likely to be infected than people who don't travel, this can give us an indication of case numbers. In this way, 2 research groups have calculated that case numbers in Wuhan could be between 10 and 40 times higher than official numbers. When a virus has jumped over from animals, as is the case with the coronavirus, one question is whether it is still jumping. So far, analysis suggests very little genetic variation in the virus, which implies it has only crossed into humans once. Genetic analysis also suggests that the virus appears to be stable. It doesn't seem to be changing or adapting to us. Another crucial parameter is the fatality rate, which we cannot yet know. The number of deaths so far make up about 2% of all known cases. But according to the China National Health Commission, only 5% of known cases have either died or recovered so far. Some of the rest will die, so the real death rate must be higher. One study of hospitalized people with a known outcome suggests that the fatality rate has been 14%, but these are only cases that were severe enough to be hospitalized. We don't know how many people had milder illnesses and lower death rates from the virus. To fill these gaps in our understanding will take massive testing of exposed population. And it goes on. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright back here for this week's Sports Report. We got a lot to go over, so let's dive in, starting off with the boys basketball team. The boys took on Farmington on the road last week, both JV and varsity struggling to get the upper hand. Both very close games, however, JV 53-51, varsity 80-77, both final scores. The boys' last home game will be next week, taking on Stony Creek. And then on the 5th, the boys will take on Groves on the road to conclude the regular season schedule. The girls basketball team is also getting to the end of their season as well. They recently took on Lakeview here at home, and it was a battle. The JV team took the win by slim margins, 25-24. However, their varsity club was much better, and the girls fell hard, 57-25. The girls' last game was Thursday here at home, taking on Lake Orion. The results on that game was not available at press time. We'll have the details on that next week. But now, surprising news for our wrestling team, which has been very successful for a long time. The Wildcats won their 7th district title in a row at Romeo High School. Since 2008, the team has won 12 league titles in 13 years. 8 individual Wildcats qualified for the MHSAA Regionals, and of those 8, 5 have qualified for the individual state championships, which takes point at Ford Field. Nate Call, Tate Meyer, Jack Smith, Jack Thompson, and Sal Vaccaro will all be competing. We'll have the results on that next week. Best of luck to all those athletes. On a different note, Oxford alumni quarterback and MSU walk-on Kyle Rowley will now be coaching the Tigers in Armada after coaching in Hazel Park for the Vikings. That was the last 6 years. It's exciting to see what our alumni are up to. Our athletic program here at Oxford has moved a lot of student athletes to the next level. And this year we have done very well. 15 players signing letters of intent to play college sports next season. For boys bowling, Luke Acton and Zach Barrows both signed to St. Clair Community College, and Justin Powell to Rochester University. Girls volleyball, Maddie Weiss signed to Shepherd University. Girls track and field, Antonio Vaccaro signed to Oakland University. Competitive cheer, Ann Cobble to Alma College, and Cassie Darling to Eastern Michigan. Girls tennis, Michaela Burr signed to Midway University. Football's Drew Carpenter to Northwood University. Girls swim and dive, Ashley Weltek to the University of Illinois. Softball, Sarah Tyrell to Concordia University. Girls lacrosse, Olivia Soul signed to Maine Maritime Academy. And girls soccer, Megan Bourne signed to Saginaw Valley State. It's pretty impressive when you got a list like that. We look forward to seeing all these players in the future. Congratulations to all of them. Anyhow, that's about all for this week's report. Like I said, we're almost to the end of our season, so if you want to get out to these last games, now's the time to do so. Soon our spring schedule will be in our lap, so Winter Sports Fan, mark your calendars. For more info on these events and more, go to oxfordathletics.org. There's plenty of game breakdowns, schedules, scores, rosters, statistics, all of that stuff and more. Once again, that is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at OCCTV.org. All of our coverage of these events and more can be found on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. And that's all for now. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats!
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and keep heaters 3 feet away from anything that can burn, because fire is everyone's fight.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, the long-awaited mid-engine Chevrolet Corvette will reach dealerships in the coming weeks. Chevrolet's next challenge? getting them to dealers eager to capitalize on the hype and to the tens of thousands of customers who are waiting for the car. We've educated people about how great the car is, says Steve Majoro, Chevrolet's U.S. Vice President for Marketing. But we have to make sure we can provide a world-class customer experience with delivery and post-delivery support. Production capacity at the Corvette plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky is about 80,000 per year, and Chevy is expected to build about 40,000 of the cars this year, according to LMC Automotive. Chevy did not disclose production targets. Coupe production started February 3rd, and convertible production starts in April. Production of the 8th generation Corvette originally was scheduled to begin by the end of 2019, but was delayed by the UAW's 40-day strike against General Motors last fall. To increase output, GM has added a second shift at the plant, which had been on one shift since the mid-1980s. We're pretty happy with what we think the throughput can be with the second shift, Majoro said at a recent Corvette media drive. It's a big step for manufacturing, labor, supply chain, everything that's required to make sure we can satisfy that demand, he says. The Corvette was named the 2020 North American Car of the Year last month, and since the car was unveiled in July, Chevrolet has received at least 45,000 pre-orders through its website, Majoro said. In addition, many dealers have taken numerous pre-orders and wanted even more cars for their showroom and lot as well. Well, nice. In our next story, traffic fatalities on U.S. roadways reached an estimated 38,800 in 2019, the second consecutive year the country saw a small decline in road deaths, according to new figures released recently by the National Safety Council. The 2019 total represents a 2% decline from 2018, which saw slightly more than 39,400 road deaths, and a 4% decline from 2017, when about 40,230 people died in vehicle crashes, according to the Itasca, Illinois-based safety organization. Preliminary estimates suggest the United States may be benefiting from risk mitigation actions implemented in the last few years, the council said in the news release. One example of the group cited is the Vision Zero initiative, a strategy gaining momentum in major cities such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York that works to improve traffic safety by taking actions such as redesigning high crash areas. Another proven safety measure is lowering the legal alcohol concentration limit for drivers. The organization also said advanced driver assistance systems such as automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, backup cameras, and adaptive headlights help reduce the severity of crashes or prevent them. While 2019 roadway deaths are down from the previous year, Lorraine Martin, CEO of the National Safety Council, said 38,000 deaths are still unacceptable. We are encouraged by the actions of so many organizations are taking to reduce deaths, and we applaud legislation that curtails common crash causes such as impairment, distraction, and speed, she said in a statement. But as a nation, we still need to demonstrate better commitment to saving lives. The group said it is still too early to determine the exact cause and effect trends behind the 2019 deaths, but final data from 2018 showed distracted driving and drowsiness continued to be a factor. The road deaths can be prevented by doubling down on what works, embracing technology advancements, and creating a culture of safer driving, she said. And on the recall front, Ford Motor Company is recalling over 166,000 F-150 pickups in the U.S. and federal territories, and almost 51,000 in Canada over a problem with LED headlights. The F-150 vehicles affected are from the 2018 and 2019 model years. The running lamps in the recalled pickups remain illuminated even when the lights are manually switched from auto lamp to the low beam position. The lamps should be dimming to parking lamp intensity. That may reduce the visibility of other drivers, increasing the risk of a crash, according to a statement from Ford. This is a safety compliance recall, a Ford spokeswoman said to Automotive News. There have been reports of there have been no reports of accident or injury related to this recall. Dealers will address the recall by updating the body control module software configuration. Ford will start contacting affected vehicle owners March 9th, spokeswoman Monique Brentley said, and it was not immediately clear which company supplied the headlights. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down Life Sideways.